So, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to share a story. Before I flew out here, I told my wife that I would be introducing a conversation about zero-knowledge proofs. And she told me, well, you'd be perfect for that. And I said, why? She said, because every day you prove to me that you know nothing. As Edward Snowden mentioned this morning in our interview, zero-knowledge proofs are a very important and potentially powerful technology for restoring privacy, both with regard to cryptocurrency and in general online. So here to talk about how ZK proofs change the narrative around privacy and also how they might make this technology more palatable to corporations. We have Rob Viglione, co-founder of Horizen and co-founder and CEO of Horizen Labs. And he's going to be in conversation with a true gentleman and a scholar, Mr. William Foxley. Please give it up for the next panel.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for sticking around for this conversation. It's the last one of the day on this stage, but it's a very important one. That's about the intersection of enterprise blockchains. Yes, that word is back. That phrase is back. And zero knowledge proofs. Horizen Labs is one of the few firms that's actually making moves in this space, actually focusing on bridging different chains together and focusing on end user privacy, which is not sexy, but is very important for anyone who has lost their credit card information. So Rob, thank you so much for joining us today. Let's start off, just tell you about yourself a little bit and then Horizen.
Yeah, guys, thank you for being here. Myself, I am kind of an older, like in my earlier talk today, I said cypherpunk enthusiast. I would say privacy is a really big part of my blockchain identity, what I want to do in this space. How I got into the space, I got into Bitcoin relatively early on because I love the idea of competing money and state, this notion that we can create a decentralized world, and privacy has to be a really big part of that. So when Zcash launched and they brought zero-knowledge proofs into coin transfer, and the first time of actually having an instance of using this technology on a blockchain, I was enamored and just realized, like, we have to get into the space. We have to see where we can take this technology. Some years later, fast forward, Horizen's been around since 2017. We launched really as a privacy coin, on the Zcash model. The idea of that was really to get comfortable with zero-knowledge proofs and then extend that into a few interesting ways that we can talk about. On the data privacy side, really important, also scalability and decentralization.
Awesome. So you guys have a few new products launching very soon here and then have also launched some interesting projects last year. Let's do a little recap of that before diving into the conversation. Again, we're here to talk about enterprise blockchains, privacy, and interoperability between different projects with a focus on privacy. But the first question, what have you guys been up to over the last year? In the next 4 weeks, you guys have 2 new launches. I don't know if I can completely hype them up yet.
No, totally. Yeah, I mean, let's get some FOMO, guys, right? I mean, this is crypto. Really, what we've been doing from when we launched, it was originally called Zencash back in 2017. Zen is our cryptocurrency. It's out there, Coinbase, Binance, and all that. But we spent then 4 years after that, or really 3 to 4 years, focusing on the cryptography side and building a scalability protocol. The scalability protocol is called Zen-Do. It uses zero-knowledge proofs to actually link blockchains together. So we're all about this horizontal scalability with Zen-Do so that we can have a system that has a lot of blockchains operating in parallel. And really within that, we are strong believers in compatibility with the rest of the industry. We're not trying to build our own silo where people are just going to come in and stay there with their own standard. We're fairly pragmatic where we recognize Ethereum is really the de facto smart contracting standard. So right now we're integrating in an Ethereum virtual machine, an EVM, into the Horizen stack, and that will actually be a product itself. So we'll have a flagship EVM where we'll have the traditional DeFi and a whole bunch of Web3 applications, but then the EVM integrated into the SDK is a product in itself, and we could have something like thousands of blockchains operating in parallel on our system the way it's designed. Now, there's a variety of other kind of launches and deployments that we're doing, like a token platform, or basically a token minting platform called Token Mint. Very, very creative of us, right? But so Token Mint mints tokens, right? So it's fungible, and soon fast follow of non-fungible tokens will be minted on Horizen. From there, I did a talk earlier today for those who had a chance to see it, where we talked about integrating zero-knowledge proofs into the token platform so that you can mint with privacy. I think this is a really important thing. Our company, Horizen Labs, works with a lot of really hot NFT projects. Like we did the ApeCoin launch along with Yuga and Animoca, and then the other side, NFT drop. And something that we learned from working with a variety of these NFT partners is that sometimes like, the community can have perceptions that don't always match reality, right? And you can have a lot of FUD in your communities of hey, how are the tokenomics distributed? Can we trust that the founders or investors are actually doing what they say they're supposed to do with, say like token lockups, the distribution of the tokens. So we're thinking with Token Mint, we can put in a ZK module where you can have privacy preserving like cryptographic provability of tokenomics for minting.
Awesome. Let's back up a little bit and then go through some of those words because they can be like really easy to hear, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm a little lost. Why do blockchains need to speak with one another? The very common analogy that we see is Ethereum is the Manhattan, and all these other chains out there are like the different boroughs of New York. And Horizen, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is a good subway system for getting assets between those two different ecosystems.
So it's a good way of putting it, and I would say that's our long-term vision, is we really want to be at the heart of this new Web3 thing. And really, you can call it Web3, you can just say it the new way of doing things, where we want to just link everyone in a decentralized way where users are owners of the platform that they use, right? So our technology, we're starting with interoperability clearly within our own stack, just because that's technically much easier to do. And now we're integrating in an EVM, so we'll have Ethereum compatibility in there. And then from there, we'll bridge to all of the EVM chains, right? So that'll be the first thing of interoperability across the system. We're initially all about horizontal scalability here in the sense that networking chains, why is it important? It's important because if we're going to do more than, like what us degens do in crypto these days, that's trading on our favorite, pools and all that, we're going to need a lot more bandwidth. We're going to need a lot more bandwidth. It has to be dedicated, it has to be fast, it has to be cheap, it has to be really scalable, and you have to abstract away the complexity and the volatility of these systems. So we think it's really important as these things get out there, having dedicated infrastructure that's dedicated to what you want to do with it is really important. And again, we're focused, probably the Web3, DeFi people in the crowd are focused on what we do today, but if we're going to actually have Salesforce, big cloud players come in, really just the enterprise world writ large, that's massive. Tens of trillions of dollars of economic value taking place out there. Getting that stuff into our world, we need this massive scalability. So the first thing that we did was horizontal scalability and having chains communicate with each other. That protocol we went live with into production on mainnet in December. Now we're putting the first pipes on top of it. Or you could say those are the pipes. Now the first useful pieces of infrastructure like Token Mint and the smart contract and EVM platform. And from there we're going to go, really the full gambit for us is like a ZK EVM would be the ideal goal.
Okay, awesome. So just to back it up even more, we have the pipes between different chains that Horizen enables. Then we have different assets or products on top, like the NFT minter. And then from there, you can go even more with more scalability projects.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So Horizen itself, how does it fit into this picture as a layer one, as a base chain? We talk a lot about Ethereum, there's Cosmos, there's Polkadot,
right?
Even Bitcoin, if you want to say that here on stage. When we talk about Bitcoin, it doesn't have an EVM. How does Horizen fit into that mix?
Yeah, so we have a hard time with this ourselves. Are we a layer 0 or are we layer 1? What's going on, right? Because we've been a layer 1 for 5 years now, but the technology we just released is really like an L0 because it enables other people to launch their own chains, their own infrastructure using our interoperability protocol. So if you want to place us in that taxonomy of this industry, you could say we're probably like a snark-enabled version of Polkadot or Cosmos in the sense that the point of communication on these sidechains is snark-enabled. Versus, say, like Certify or Set enabled.
Okay. So let's talk about the NFT minter, because I think that there's a misunderstanding when it comes to privacy and then a lot of dApps that are launched on top of chains and how those two things interact, especially zero knowledge proofs, because a lot of people, they come across zero knowledge proofs when they're journeying into crypto, and they're like, oh, I'm going to read this Wikipedia page. That was really confusing. Delete it, get out, go on with my day. I'm not going to keep reading about it. But they're really important. There's a lot of chains that are dedicated to zero knowledge proofs. Zcash, like you mentioned earlier, top privacy coin out there. Maybe Monero folks might hate on me a little bit for that, but it is out there. ZK rollups are a new infrastructure piece, and we're seeing zero knowledge proof technology in a lot of different tech stacks, even outside of crypto. So it's a very important part of tech going forward. How does it interact with Horizen, and how does it interact with some of the products you guys have, like this NFT Mentor?
Yeah, I mean, so we made a big bet years ago. I guess probably, like I said earlier, like dumb luck in a way. Like we kind of fumbled on zero knowledge proofs and realized there's something big going on here, but we didn't even realize how big initially. Just to throw that out there. As we were building our team, as the industry was evolving, as our own technology and products were evolving, we realized ZKPs could do much more. So, coin privacy is really where it came out with like Zcash, like zero knowledge proofs integrated into a blockchain. They did a fantastic job of showing what was possible with coin transfers. Now, where we started taking this and how we think about it is data privacy as well. So we can extend this into arbitrary types of data structures. You could do it for specific products like NFTs. You could do it for different tokens that you want to mint. And really just like what elements of that data stack do you want to preserve privacy on? So really our system is very flexible, and it's flexible in everything basically, because we realize we just want to focus on the interoperability. That's kind of like our focus point, our specialization. Everything else that we build out on top of that is completely configurable. And we're going out with this token minter as just a first simple step because, well, everyone's got to mint tokens in a crypto ecosystem.
Totally. So I would say with the product then, if it's flexible, we have Horizen with the NFT Minter, another dApp you can build on top of it, enterprise blockchain. How does that fit into zero knowledge proofs? Like what's a specific application you guys are looking for or building, and then other people coming into the enterprise blockchain space are looking for with the zero knowledge proof?
So there's two different ways that I look at this. One is on the pure product side, and we have a pure like zero knowledge based product that I think illustrates really well what we do and the capability of this stack that we've built. It's called ZK Audit. It's basically a cryptographic real-time auditing tool where anyone who uses digital assets as a custodian, an exchange, really any type of business that takes digital assets, if you have a problem where you need to prove to the world that you're doing responsible custody of these assets, we have a product for you. It's called ZK Audit. Basically, in a nutshell, what we've done is we've snarkified the Bitcoin blockchain starting out. So what we did is replay every single transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain onto our Horizen sidechain where we swapped out the cryptographic curves so they're snark friendly. And then we built an app called ZK Audit on it. So we did a POC with the Celsius network. Now they're a CFI app, or a centralized finance app, where they take in digital assets and they do lending and give you a yield on your digital assets. Now the community of this product needs to trust that the company behind it is responsibly managing the reserves. Well, we worked with them on actually building a real-time auditing tool that, at least with the first version of it, we're looking at purely their Bitcoin assets, but then we can snarkify other chains and kind of you can rank them on total, TVL. So we'll snarkify Ethereum, we'll snarkify different chains. And then you could have real-time auditing of proof of reserves of these things. That's one example of how you can have an enterprise type of product. This could be useful for exchanges, any custodians, or like anyone that wants to come in this space is dealing with digital assets at scale. But just in general, the way we look at it is enterprises need flexibility in control for what they're doing. And really, we want to have a value proposition where they can leverage the benefits of an open public blockchain, but still configure it in a way that's important to them. And a lot of enterprises want to have private infrastructure. They want to have control of it. They want to keep the data private at a minimum for their customers, probably because they have to, right? So we have, like in our system, you can have a private blockchain that's actually running all of the operations, all of the data on your private network, and then you could publish zero knowledge proofs or certificate back to the main public blockchain. You have a verifier on there, and you can actually, like the public can verify that everything that happens in your private network actually conforms to the rules that you declared publicly. Right, so this is one example of how we think we can offer unique products that serve the enterprise marketplace that still leverage the power of public blockchain.
So audits make sense for zero knowledge proofs and for blockchains because blockchains at the end of the day are just counting mechanisms of some sort. Right. You want to have a zero knowledge proof that enables you to prove that something is true without giving a ton of information that would hurt your privacy. Tell me about the tech side of this though, because these things do get complex and a lot of teams don't have a cryptographic expert on hand, so they need someone who's able to manage the system. I know you guys recently launched a codeless implementation of this, or am I correct there?
Yeah, so I mean, we have a no-code minting platform, Token Mint, right? We created a dApp that just make it super easy, connect your Web3 wallet, and you can mint, we say in 15 minutes or less, 14 minutes is writing your seed phrase, right? Which you really should do privately or securely, right? But going beyond that, you're right. Like we actually have called a labor shortage in the ZK industry, and it's really tough because yes, we have cryptographers on staff, we have cryptographic engineers on staff. We probably don't have enough, is the reality. So we focus on proving system work and then applications in the ZK space. I would say where our strength is as integrators of, I mean, we've built cryptographic libraries, one's called GingerLib based on Zexy, but like there's so much to it, and there's some really big players investing heavily in this space, rightfully so, because zero-knowledge proofs, I think, are that missing link to make this technology go mainstream. So we are one of, I don't know, a handful, maybe a dozen, 2 dozen, companies in the world really specializing in this class of crypto. We need to scale up. So any cryptographers out there and any cryptographic engineers, please let's talk because there really is a labor shortage.
Yeah, the labor shortage is definitely one part of it. I mean, most firms are looking for engineers at this point. I've seen bounties for like $10,000 just for a referral for a typical engineer, and then cryptographers even more so. I like the fact that you brought up the mainstreaming of this because it's definitely a lot of difficulty with enterprise blockchain after what happened in 2017 and 2018. There was a lot of push for enterprise blockchain. A lot of those dreams fizzled. And I think some people said this isn't the right application for enterprises. But on the other side, there's actually a lot of demand for it, perhaps, but there isn't anyone who can build these systems or know how to build them or know how to interact the data and the projects that you're building together. So how do you see the picture going forward?
Yeah, so the way that I see this now, we have this really cool, hip Web3 world exploding, right? And that's what we're part of, right? I think most of us here. Enterprises haven't stopped looking at this. So there's like the graveyard of X. I won't say what tech stack X is, but a lot of enterprises decided to do their own DLT stuff years ago, like you were saying. And then they kind of failed. These POCs got to a certain point and they didn't mature them, didn't get out there. They haven't stopped though, that's the thing. So they're still investing heavily. They still have fantastic teams and could outgun us on resources any day. But we have this different is we have community and just kind of the coolness of being in Web3. There's some awesome stuff that we've been doing without asking for permission or really without just waiting for the enterprise market to get here. And I think where the stuff will go mainstream is when we have that kind of intersecting point of when some of these really big, well-capitalized technology giants who are still investing in DLT realize that the biggest bang for the buck is going to be at the intersection where they can plug in and play in the public blockchain world and leverage all this really cool stuff happening in Web3, but still, like, leverage your stuff. You can do this in a way where you can still maintain control of your systems. You can maintain data privacy for your clients as you have to do, you must do, but still, you should play in the public domain. And why we're so happy about this is because we have the solution for you, right? I mean, it's one based on zero-knowledge proofs. You can keep all of your stuff under your control and completely private, but then you can still send those certificates proving everything that you've done to the public to verify. And I think that's the interesting intersection that over the next few years, like when that really hits, when we have critical mass there is when this technology really can mainstream.
So we have about 2 minutes, 30 seconds left, and I want to nail down the application side because I think that's the thing that most people walk away from with these talks, especially when we get deep into the tech pool, like someone like yourself. It can be very difficult to walk out the door and be like, okay, what are the things that I can apply? So we talked about audits, talked about the NFT Minter. What other sort of applications for enterprise blockchain and privacy do you see going forward next 5, 10 years? Feel free to get a little weird with it, whatever you may see.
No, okay. The way that we're tackling this strategically is we did the techie, geeky enterprise product, the proof of reserves, right? This is something that, like, if you work at EY or Deloitte, maybe this is sexy, right? For the mainstream, probably not. But it demonstrates capability of what this tech can do and actually kind of does that bridge to digital assets is now like a very large marketplace, and if we get it out there, institutions need this type of auditing. On the other hand, you've got this Web3 stuff, and where we're rolling out, like, our next product is this EVM integration, and like this story's been told already over the last few years, like from DeFi summer to now, like the recent NFT boom, right? And that's where we're rolling out the next set of products. Going from there, like Horizen, we want to be really an infrastructure layer. So we're not focusing so much on trying to bring the next vertical and trying to predict what that is and get that to market. We want to lay the rails and lay the rails in a way that's actually really enticing for the big boys of tech to come in and actually start playing in this marketplace and in a way that intersects with the coolness of Web3.
Awesome.
So sorry to deflect your question.
No.
Yeah. So,
Great answer. Great answer. Just want to wrap up. Where can people find your stuff? Where can they keep up to date with Horizen Labs? And also, I think an important question, maybe just for yourself, where can cryptographers go and learn about zero-knowledge proofs?
oh, wow. Okay. So we have a Horizen Academy, by the way. So for a cryptographer, like, there'll be like, do this in your sleep kind of thing. But for the average person, if you want to learn about zero-knowledge proofs, and it's cool to be average, guys. You can go to Horizen Academy. That's a good one. But Horizen.io, and you can see from the advertisements up here, Horizen, because we're built with Zen, right? Horizen.io is a one-stop shop for everything. We have a bunch of technical papers on there, research papers. We also have all of our products up there. Importantly, we have our community links there, like Discord. If you're interested in any of this stuff, guys, you want to talk to me, any of the real people, especially the really cool people at our booth, downstairs, check it out, stop by. Mint a token, guys, on Token Mint. It's pretty cool. You can do that in under 15 minutes. We'll make it simple for you. But really, that's it. Come meet the team. Go to Horizen.io. You'll learn a lot there. But that's really your source. If you're a technologist, you want to read some technical white papers, you can read about the proving system we created, then realized it wasn't as performant as some of the other stuff, another story. Or come and join the community, and let's have that conversation.
Awesome. Rob Viglione of Horizen Labs, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.